Something I've been teaching a lot of my students recently, they come into a lesson with me, and one of the biggest mistakes I see them making is hitting a third, fifth, seventh, ninth shot, drop or drive, and blindly deciding to follow that with steps forward towards the kitchen line, not knowing whether or not that ball has kind of successfully challenged your opponent and whether the next ball is going to come back easier or harder than the last one. So I want to take a second to review a point that I played in a tournament, Paragon Open in March 2025 with my partner, Victor. We ended up not placing this tournament, but there's a lot of great points here to review. And this one in particular, I think perfectly sets the example of both of us reading the situation of when to move forward and when to move backward. And I would say also the situation where we're going to respect our opponents until proven otherwise. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's get into it. All right, so to start, we're going to just play the point start to finish, no commentary over it, and then we'll break it down shot by shot. We'll analyze shot selection, what I'm thinking during the middle of the point, and form as well. Perfect. So now let's play it over and we'll start at the beginning and analyze every shot of this. This one has a happy ending, but that's not why I chose it. I chose it because of this middling work that it took for us to get to the kitchen line. And I can't tell you how many times most people lose in the transition zone and never get to the dinking rally that created the opportunity for us to win the point. So starts off with a solid serve, and unfortunately I don't remember my opponent's names here, but they played really well. I think they went pretty deep in the tournament, and they did end up beating us here. Victor hits, you could see how crowded he is on the return here, which is obviously just a sign that it was a tough serve. He hits a kind of middling return, which is okay. It's not too high in the air, which is probably the most important part here. So it's low, but it's kind of also in the middle of the court. Now you can see where he is on the third. So obviously we'd like to be at the kitchen line, but with a deep return and a deep serve and a middling return, this type of situation happens. And this is why a powerful serve can be so important, and a deep return is so important to get you up to that kitchen line. So he's hitting essentially a reset shot, getting caught in on his way back from the return. This is less ideal, but obviously something we want to work on here. Form looks good. Maybe slightly, his feet are at a 45-degree angle. He maybe wants to be a little flatter with it. But what I'd say the most important part of this shot is that the way he's meeting his paddle. So let's just... So he's making a blocking motion with his paddle, letting his opponent's ball energy kind of bounce off of his paddle and slow the ball down for what he's going for is essentially reset in the kitchen. His reset is a little too high. It's actually a pretty solid reset. And if he could have stepped in here, he could have taken this as an attack, but he was kind of stuck on there. And he is one of the fastest people I know in pickleball. So usually, he could, you would see him slide in and make the attack. But I think because of his position in the last shot, he missed the opportunity here. You can see the ball is actually below the net, but his opponent is able to put a little bit of force on it because Victor's positioning. He breaks down his split step, and now he's in a trickier spot where he's getting a little bit chicken wing to hit the next ball. So playing it in real time. But you can see while it's a chicken wing, he did what's super important here, and he pushes the ball down rather than going for like going straight on with an attack or something like that. He's trying to get that ball to land basically right here in the middle of the kitchen. It's still a little too high, which causes another attack here. When I see this attack, I can see he's in trouble. I've turned towards him with my body. And this is the moment that I know he's hitting a hard shot. I need to get in a better position. So as he hits it and I see the shot being really high, I know I need to be back and then I need to dig right. So right as my opponent gets ready to hit the ball, I'm going to be in the ready position. He's in the ready position. We're getting ready for that next ball. You see, this is a slight mistake with my left foot, spinning it out, but I'm expecting him to go wide. Why am I expecting him to go wide on me? Well, the ball has bounced and the net is lowest in the middle. So if he's trying to keep, also, I was the one closer to the net. So I'm actually in the worst position. Victor's in a better position than me. If my opponent is reading this properly, they're going to have a better angle because they are a right-handed player. And the length from where the ball is to this corner here is more than the length over here. And they'd have to go across their body, which would add additional risk. And they would have to go on a higher point of the net. So the most optimal shot for my opponent should be at my outside foot, somewhere in this area. This is what they should be thinking. And for that reason, I've turned my foot out, predicting a big lunge coming in. He hits it a little bit straighter, so which is fine. It's still nice and through the middle of the court with good form, but I think the most optimal shot there is across me, and I don't think he read my foot position. I don't think he was like that far, not necessarily advanced, but like he could see that I was predicting an outside ball, and so I'm able to get this ball. What I do like about his position is that it might cause confusion between us, but I think either of us could get to this shot. I take a quick lunge and I'm going for a reset. I cannot attack this, and this is a huge mistake. I see people make a lot. They go for a full swing off of something like this. That is suicide. While this is a tough ball, you've got to get better at resetting this ball in the kitchen. If you've never reset this ball in the kitchen, you need to get out there and drill this type of reset. Strong lunge, perfect reset with a partner, because this is where all of the money is made in pickleball, especially at the 4-5 plus level, is resetting this ball. Now let's take a look at my reset quality. Now, it's not bad. I get him stretching at an angle, and I've chosen the cross court kind of drop. But you can see I'm above the net when he hits contact with it. So I am still a little too high. But hey, that was a tough ball. It's not that much higher, and I'm making him stretch for it. So I would say overall, maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10 on the reset. A 9 or 10 would obviously be landing in that corner in the kitchen. I guess an 8 would be below the net hit by him. A 9 would be landing in the kitchen, and a 10 would be we're able to actually fully reset the ball. But still, overall, a good quality reset. And of course, I like to score the quality of each of these shots in certain cases because it helps me understand, am I playing perfect? Am I playing good? Am I playing great? So forth and so on. So now he goes cross court with it a little bit handcuffed on his part. I feel like he was just kind of getting the ball here, and doing that down the line is almost impossible. So it's pretty much always coming back cross court when you're reaching for it, and people are just going to go for the middle. So now I'm sitting here ready to dig another reset. This reset is another moment where we read the ball. So as soon as this ball goes higher than our heads, we're thinking to ourselves, this is going to be an attackable ball. And while we can see the trajectory kind of it possibly landing in the kitchen and bouncing, the bounce is still going to be too high for us to attack. So while I could read it off the paddle, perhaps I can read the ball in the air and know to myself, I've hit a bad reset here. I need to step back. And I think we both recognize that in this one. So it bounces, which is great, but you could see he hit contact slightly above the net, and he's able to take another attack on the ball. Again, this time I think choosing middle is a little bit easier than cross court based on his foot positioning. And we're both in an equal spot where the middle can be solving the riddle, whereas going cross court is angled. So he actually has a sliver of defense here. But so this middling ball is going to be trouble for us, and he's given enough pace that we're going to have to fight for it. But he didn't overhit it either, which is good quality on our opponent. So now I can hit another reset. This one I could recognize was good. Low over the net, into the middle. And of course, as soon as I see him taking that step back, I can get myself 2 extra feet to get to the kitchen. It's important to rush this one forward on a good read of what the ball is doing, because if I just stood after hitting the ball, if I just stood there, he would be able to continue to put pressure on me and put me back. If he now tries to apply that same pressure, I will have an easy counter attack and probably even just a winner. So he has to, what I call, concede the kitchen or face a counter attack, because he just can't put that much pace on this ball. So he finally found that drop we were looking for to make a good reset. And he hits a great cross-court shot, similar to what I was talking about before, but when we were further back. This is a good cross-court dink by him. Great control to recognize that he was handcuffed and not overextend. Again, gotta give it to my opponents here. Now we're going into cross-court dink battle, and while we've made the transition to neutral, I currently am picking on this guy's backhand, especially because I have the cross-court advantage, or I'm cross-court from him, which means I'm going to be able to put a little more pace on the ball. I'm going to have a little bit more room for error. And I can keep it moving on this guy's backhand. We aren't necessarily picking on him per se, but in this point, he's gotten a majority of the balls. We want to wear him down or possibly push him to a point where he's going to make an error, maybe a stamina error or something along those lines. So you just kind of recognize who's getting most of the balls and maybe want to keep testing them, keep putting them to the test. It's better. And then as you ice them, you maybe will give, as you might have an opportunity to switch it up, and the other person might get caught off guard as well. So here we're kind of icing one player, focusing on the other, and that might allow for 2 opportunities, wearing this one down and surprising this one by actually giving them the ball at some point. Cross court, you can see how he has to step out. As soon as I hit my shot, I move my foot to the line because the court is not a static rectangle. He cannot hit the ball to this side of the court here. So the court is now 4 feet shorter and we're playing his side. Victor knows that he's guarding the line. He knows that I've got anything low in the forehand, in my forehand zone, almost covering up to his shoulder. And he's just got his body in the line to worry about. Here is a perfect example. It's actually a pretty well-placed ball. If we had not moved our positioning, this ball would be kind of going straight at his body. But based on our positioning, he's hit the inside foot, which is going to be, this is one of the tougher balls to get. If you've ever had to take a volley out of the air on your backhand in situations like this, it is, statistically speaking, probably one of the most likely places to pop it up. And he keeps it nice and low. Victor's able to maintain a reasonable paddle. I think he kind of overswung it here. Let's watch it in real time, just really fast. But he has good control on it. So I would prefer a little bit more of a block, and he kind of did push through it. But that's a little bit of a personal preference, perhaps, and not necessarily too much to knock him on. The question is, should he have gone cross court with it? And in this case, I like picking on the person in front of you. What you want to recognize is that he cannot put a lot of pace on the ball, so it's going to be a pretty soft ball. But you can see our opponent is stuck bending. Unfortunately, my body's blocking the angle. Is stuck bending over to get it, so it's still a tough ball for him. You can see the read. It may be easier for me to see it from where I am, but you can see the read on his feet is kind of pointing the ball, and you can't see it, but the paddle also is facing this way. So before he's even hit it, I'm expecting a cross-court dink. Good players will mix this up and try and do a speed up through the middle, catching me off guard going left. It does happen from time to time, but it's a very low ball. It's very unlikely that they're going to just get impatient with it, and I'm predicting that cross-court dink. You could see they could not even make it full cross-court. It's more just to my outside foot. I am going to continue to apply pressure by picking on his backhand one more time. And again, the reason I step over here is because if he goes a little too high in this area, I'm going to have an attack, and that's what we're looking for. And there it is. If I'm way over here, that I might not be able to get that ball. So just look at this beautiful finish. Let's see if we can get. We pushed him out wide again. His foot is almost outside of the playing area, and he's going for a cross court dink, but in order for him to hit this side or corner of the court over here, he's going to have to go across my attack zone. And I have placed myself there, getting ready for it. I see it. I lean in as much as I can because we need to get as close over the kitchen line as possible without falling in. And while it might have been slightly low, it was attackable and just a smooth, without overswinging it, ball straight ahead. Another mistake I see people make, they try to attack the person who gave them the ball here. They go for a cross-court attack. It is actually better to attack straight ahead, especially because the ball is a little bit below the net. So we're making contact with it. Yeah, we're just below the net. So you can see he's stuck wide. When I dinked, I got back to the middle before my opponent was hitting. And that's the difference that makes this shot possible. So if he had actually slid over, it would have been a different story. But we were wearing him down. We were exhausting him, waiting for this moment of opportunity so that we can make the attack. The attack is going to be, we don't want to go to his forehand. We could, there sometimes is an angle there to go like across down the line, but that's actually pretty risky. And they've left this middle zone open. His forehand is really far away from his backhand, whereas us, we're almost touching. We could high five each other from here, right? Like they cannot. There's an actual gap in between the two of them. So I'm trying to aim for that gap without going too close to his forehand. I want to be just outside of his backhand reach. This is where I'm going for it. You can see the lane that's opened up here down the middle. I'm going to attack that. I need to keep it low so that I cannot be counterattacked, and I just need enough pace to make them struggle. You can see just outside of his reach. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about where I want to put the ball. You can see he came over late and goes, oh yeah, I think he maybe even realizes, oh, I left the ball a little too high and I didn't come over to defend the hole that had been created. Quick 27 seconds of gameplay footage. And I think you can see a lot going on. In the early game, there's kind of a starting error caused by a great serve. And it's going to happen. We're all going to get stuck here in this in this situation every once in a while. Then we struggle to get ourselves out, but we are hitting resets. We know what we want to do. We want to get back to the kitchen line and beat them in a dinking battle. You can see, aside from the serve, the partner and the drive, the partner doesn't hit a single ball here, right? And so we're just trying to get into this corner. Too high, step back, dig. If we had come forward on that, he would have lanes of opportunity to sneak through us on the attack. So it is just better to dig it out from the backcourt right here. You can see how it would be a tough ball to either his backhand and it'd be lower than the court if he was standing right up here, or my forehand would be a stretch. So instead, we're going to dig it out off of the bounce. This is an important kind of reset concept. Recognizing it, breaking it down as he's hitting, but getting as much space as I can. I knew I couldn't make the kitchen line, and this is something you have to be able to read based on the speed of the ball and your opponents and all that. Knew I couldn't get to the kitchen line, but I'm breaking it down, getting ready for the next ball, but knowing that it really can't be much of an attack. And if he does attack, it's going to be pretty easy to just flick back. Now we enter that cross-court dink battle that everyone's been in. Victor handles a tough dink to his inside foot. We're going to keep that pressure on. I could have gone down the line. I could have gone to the middle. I don't want this guy to get involved in this point. We're picking on him to wear him down, and we're going to get the mistake, and here it comes. That's it. Let me know what you thought about this point, about the idea of moving forward and backward based on your read of how good your resets are. Just about the concept of resets. Are you hitting your resets? Are you driving too much? A lot of people I see have a really flat reset. We want to arc that ball down into the kitchen. It's going to make you so much more money. It's going to win you so many more points. It's going to feel good to get that reset and be able to come to the kitchen line. But make sure you're reading each ball appropriately. Don't just hit the reset and blindly run forward. And also, when you hit a good reset, don't just hit a good reset and then stand there going, wow, I hit a great shot. Because that's a waste of a reset, because they're going to be able to keep you back on the next one. You have to take the space you've earned. All right, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next time.